All right, so now you want to be able to manage your packages. So you want to install a new package, you want another version of an already installed package, maybe because it works best with your project specifically. So you need to understand firstly that packages, they live in these things called repositories. They're storage locations out there either in the internet or if you have your own repository in your company that's specific to your project or whatever you're dealing with in your company. So they make their own project, their own packages, and you want to be able to access them and get your packages from there. So these repositories are accessed through something called channels. So you set up a channel in Anaconda that points to the repository you want to download the packages from. So the default repository for Anaconda is called the continuum repository, the continuum channel. So that's where, if you, for example, say conda install numpy, it's going to get numpy from the default channel firstly. If it can find it from the default channel, which is the continuum, it'll get it from there. If it can't find it, then it'll move on to the next channel on the list. So it goes uh, highest highest priority, which is the one that you set up firstly, and then after that, it goes down the list if it cannot find it in the highest priority channel. So let's look at the different channels that we have currently installed. So we'll say conda config get channels, and it'll list the channels for you. And here you only have the default channel, right? Because you didn't install anything else. You didn't set up any other channel. So, however, sometimes you might want to get packages that are not found in the default repository, in the default channel. Let's say, for example, you're going to be working with some bio packages that won't be found in the default channel. So you want to go to Bioconda and you find it over there and you want to use it. So you need to set that up. And now whenever you say, Conda install whatever packages in the Bioconda channel, it'll get it from there. Or let's say, for example, you want to get something from Conda Forge, where they have these specially built packages that are built by the community members, and they have these things called recipes where, they have the package set up in a certain way that can benefit in some way or another, that is special in some way or another than the packages that are put together in other channels. So you want to get the package from the Conda Forge way. So how do you get it from there? So you just set up the Anaconda to add the channel Conda Forge, and it'll get it from there. So let's add a channel, but before we add a channel, let's see what happens if you try to install a package from the default repository, the default channel, and it's not there. So let's look here, for example, at this package over here. You try to install it. You say conda install, and it'll look for it. It'll try to find this package, and if it can find it, it'll ask you to install it. If it can't find it, then you can see here, it's saying that, hey, I can't find it. So now you're going to have to install the channel. You have to set up the channel so they can find it in the Conda Forge repo. All right, so how do you do that? Well, it's very simple. You just say conda config dash dash append. Now you can do an append or you can do a prepend. Now, the difference between those are that append will add the channel but to the bottom of the list. So the way it works is that Anaconda looks for packages in the first channel that has, meaning the channel that has the highest priority. So the one that is highest on the list is the one where Anaconda will look for that package. Now it's really important for you to understand that Because if you have, for example, a package that is of version 1.1 in the channel that has the highest priority, and a version 2.0, which is even higher, it's a newer version, but it's in a channel that's of a lower priority, Anaconda is still going to get the one with the lower version because that lower version is set in your highest priority channel. So it's going to firstly look at it there by name. It's not going to look at the version. It's going to say, "Yep, you want this package here. I found it in the first one. I'm not going to even bother looking at the second one where it might even have a higher version." So you need to understand that in case you might wonder why am I getting a lower version, even though I'm trying to. I know that there's a newer one and I'm getting an older version. So let's append now. Now if you put prepend, it's gonna put the channel to the highest level. So whatever was highest is not going to be the highest anymore. It's going to be the one that you're going to include now. Now, I don't recommend to use prepend because then you won't have the default repository anymore as the highest priority, which is not a good thing, especially if you're new. You always want to use the default repository because that's where all the tried and tested packages are there. You don't want to add something else, and every time you now say conda install and then the package name, and you see that lots of things going on wrong, and you just find out later that you've been using the wrong channel. It's not the default one. So let's just add and append a channel, and let's go ahead and install or include the Conda Forge one. So Conda Forge, because we want to install that package that we weren't able to install. Um, I made a mistake here. Conda config append. Oh yes, we need to write channels config forge. Now let's list all the channels that we have now, and you'll see here the defaults, the highest priority, and that's the continuum repository, and then here is the conda forge, which is the lowest priority because we only have two. All right, so now let's try to install the package that we were trying, and let's see what happens now. It's going to try to resolve it. It's going to look for it, and boom, there it is. It found it. So I'm not going to install it. I'm just going to say no to this. All right. And good. All right. So now you know how to add a channel and remove a channel, and you understand the importance of having the different priorities in a channel. So let's also see how to remove a channel. Maybe you included it. Now you want to remove it for whatever reason. So very easy. We'll just say conda config. Again, you're going to say dash dash, and now you're going to say remove channels with an S in the end, and then the channel name, which is going to be Conda Forge. Enter. Now you list the channels again, and you'll see that it's not there anymore. So I hope you understand more about the channels and how to use the channels, then the importance of having the understanding of the priorities in the channels, and now practice and try and see how you can install the different channels that you might think will be useful for your own projects and have fun.